This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Marcel Gasser, recent graduate of our Speak to Inspire course. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's great having you. Tell us about you. Where are you from? What do you do?
I'm originally from Switzerland and I call myself an entrepreneur, or I used to call myself an entrepreneur. And something happened 3 years ago that I'm more focusing on the spirit or impact creation recently. And since 2.5 years I'm traveling the world and I call myself a digital nomad.
Okay. And what happened 2.5 years ago?
I got a diagnosis of a tumor in my head. It was behind my third eye, and this was a big shock. And I decided not to suffer, as usually people would suffer in those situations. And I told my family after 2 days that this was the best who could ever happen to myself, without knowing what's behind. But I did instant know after 2 days, this is my chance to get back to myself, to jump into life again and change the whole thing again. And it was an amazing journey. It was a challenging journey, not always easy. I refused the traditional medicine and I was very confident that I will find a natural way to cure my cancer, which I did. But it took me some efforts and it was an amazing journey. I went all over the world finding the things I was looking for, and I'm still a seeker somehow.
In 2 days, that's all it took you to reframe the idea that you have a tumor in your brain and to think of it as a positive.
Yes, and the most challenging actually was not to resist the advice of the people in white, of the hospitals and the heavy medicine they want to give me. It was more from family or friends which told me I risk my health. And I have had many situations where I doubted myself. Am I doing right? Am I really knowing what I'm doing? And did I put my risk, or did I risk my life or whatever? The funny thing, after these 2 days, I had like 12 days till the surgery. And I didn't know I will survive this surgery, but it was a heavy surgery. And I celebrated life because I told it was a mad thing. I told everyone maybe I'm not surviving, and I celebrated my life. And sometimes it feels like I kept on celebrating my life for the past 3.5 years or 2.5 years, which was amazing, and being an inspiration for people that they just are curious again or ask questions before they rely on the medical system. And I'm not against the medical system. I just believe there is another way also to consider.
Okay. And what brought you to our course? What was going on inside of you and around you to make you want to speak to Inspire?
That was a very spontaneous decision. I was in Bali in a hotel. I remember the moment, and I've seen the Facebook ad. And I didn't know, I'm sorry, I didn't know about London Real before. And I think it was your story, or the energy, which I could feel, the connection I could feel. And I signed me up instant. And to be honest, if I would have known how much time and dedication I need to invest, I think there would be too much resistance. So it took me 1 minute. I watched the video on Facebook ad and I signed me up without doing some research or watching some other videos. And then I got the email and I didn't know it's starting instant, and I was traveling heavy, and it was challenging to dedicate the time, because if I sign me up for something, I want to do it at the best possible.
And were you thinking about speaking, or why was this course of interest to you?
That's the funny part, because I came to a conclusion this August while I was on a conference. It was a spiritual conference. And I learned so much in the past 3 years, or I gained so much of understanding about myself. I connected back to myself, but also I have a sense of understanding how the universe is working, how people are working, what's driving us. And I did know I have to share this story, not for my own ego or my own pocket. I've seen myself as an inspiration because with my two major struggles, the tumor and the business which got screwed up, I decided in both issues I'm not going to suffer. And in most of the cases, people are just suffering, and especially cancer is usually the beginning of a long story of suffering. And I was like, I'm not going to do this, and I want to be an inspiration of people to take back their power and to take back also the decision how they want to experience such a situation. And I think we are all able to choose how we want to experience.
Okay. So the first 2 weeks of the course, you realize, oh, there's a lot of work to do. You also get introduced to these 75 people around the world. What was that like?
That was very interesting, and I think one of the big wows also, because I'm a digital guy anyway, and I could never ever imagine that the people or person you never seen in life, you can actually build up such a big connection already. So when we arrived yesterday, I did already know all the faces, the stories, and I felt this deep connection already. And I've had amazing conversations yesterday and today, hopefully tomorrow, and friendships which will last. We heard it yesterday. I'm so sure it will last because it's on a frequency or energy, it's on the same level. So you don't need to know each other for years. You already know you're aligned.
Yeah. What did you struggle with on the course? What was hard for you?
The time differences. Half of the course I was in Asia, so I had to to wake up in the middle of the night, which was challenging. I had long days, and to get up at 3 and being 1 hour on a call was kind of tough. And also the homework, which I like. You keep us moving our ass. You demand, and this is what I like. It's not as you mentioned, it's not being a tourist. You have to be active, and I think the whole course is about what you do with it, and it's about execution. It's simple, and I think I did quite well till module 5, and then I struggled a little bit time-wise. So my biggest issue was time, and also that I don't want to be on stage. I'm a doer, but usually in the back. I like the back. I hope it will change now with these experiences.
How was your speech last night? You came to the world headquarters, you're in front of 30 of your teammates. How did it feel up there?
It felt great. I mean, the decision I took 6 hours before in the plane to change my whole speech I was like, fuck, I'm gonna destroy the whole, because I did still need my notes. I was not used to this speech. And then as the energy was so great, and usually I get very nervous. I get nervous as well. And I was quite calm and connected, and then it was like a flow. So it was kind of easy after just setting up the speech a few hours before, and it was right to change it because I simplified everything, and it should be quite simple, I guess.
And what was it like watching your classmates? What did you notice? What did you feel?
This was very inspiring, actually. I mean, what I realized, everyone has a great story, no matter. Usually people think I don't have a great story, I have nothing to share, but you can share. Everyone has something to speak up or share, to inspire. So this was wow, and how much different stories we had in our group. And so this was really inspiring, and learning also from others, and everyone did great. It was nothing, I couldn't even say which one was my favorite. There was so much good stuff happening.
What are your plans for the next 12 months? How are you going to take this speech to the next level?
I was considering booking an upgrade with you to have like a 6 months training on to speak, or maybe doing the live or business accelerate. So I haven't decided yet. I feel it very deeply that I should share more of my stories, and I think nothing in life, at least in my life, was by occasion, or it's like just a flow, and I'm very much into a flow, and to inspire others to break out a little bit of their self-made boundaries. And we don't need to go to heaven. Heaven is here already. And to change in some situations just the perspective, that you create another instant reality, or change from this illusion to reality actually. That's what I like, and life gets so much more enjoyable, so, and deep, or it's hard to express. I feel it.
And how have you changed? If we walked down on the street and bumped into the Marcel that didn't take this course, what's that guy like? How are you different?
I think I can share my story now, because I was still on the external world. I was still like, I thought like I don't have the background or the courage to speak up, to tell my story, which is also quite personal. I mean, what happened with myself in business, it is very personal. And also the tumor, usually the people are not willing to share what's happening in their private life, or if they suffer somehow. So I'm able now to share. I got more open, even I was already open. And yeah, I'm grateful also for the connections, for the people, because the people or the class it's really a wow, or it's a great value you create with such an inspiring group.
Last question, if there's someone that's watching that's thinking about taking the Speak to Inspire course, but they're just not sure, what advice would you give them?
I think do it like me, just sign up. And I mean, there is nothing you can lose. It's a huge chance, and I think it's even better if you don't consider too much what can I share, what's my value add. You just sign you up, and then I think every one of us did find a treasure within themselves which they could share. And even if it's a simple story, we learned that you can frame it right. It's an inspiring story then. So I think not too I would go more from the mind towards the feeling, and just sign yourself up. And if you sign up, dedicate the time, because if you don't take the time and action, and the whole thing, it's useless. I mean, it's all about what you execute. And even if you don't speak afterwards, or you don't want to speak afterwards, you still benefit so much for your own being, or in an inspirational way also. So I think it's really nothing to lose.
Marcel, I love your energy, and I love your story. And I think once we hammer out the structure of this speech and make it even better, it's powerful. You've got a great journey. You can already hear a little bit about it now when we're talking, but it's a message that people need to hear. So please make sure that you get out there and make people hear it. And thanks for being a part of this incredible course. And let's do some big things in the next 12 months, all right?
Thanks for you. I mean, it's awesome what you do, and I'm really happy that we have people in this world doing such work. That's really awesome.
Thank you, man. All right, man, to the future.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.